Hey guys, Alex West here, and this is gonna be my first Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis video. If you guys have any comments and suggestions for me to improve, just drop in the comment section down below. So without further ado, let's begin. I have been seeing a lot of people have these two questions. One, what augments should I use? And number two, what set of units should I pair with it? In this video, we're gonna talk about some sample builds for you guys to use as reference. So we'll start first with 40% potency. So for 40% potency, we're gonna use the Forms Soul, Form Sand Soul, and Forms Machine Soul, because right now they're really cheap. So that's the soul that we're gonna use. So for the first set, this is a 40% potency, and we're gonna use our 5-star weapon, a 1 piece of Vidalun armor, and 2 pieces of Geant armor. This set will give us a high HP amount bonus. However, we're gonna suffer from 100% elemental resistance loss because we're gonna use 2 pieces of Geant armors in here. So for the augments, we're going to use a stat 3, Gigas 3, forms Sand, Forms Soul, or Forms Machining, depends on what stat are you gonna follow. So make sure it's on the 3 level as well. And a doable stat, probably Melrad, Meltech, or Ratech, depends on what stat that you're going for. And then we're gonna need 1 Dreadkeeper 3. Keep in mind that Dreadkeeper 3, you're gonna slot it in on your Vidalun armor. So that will grant us a huge amount of HP bonus. So once we have everything, we'll get 41.74 potency, plus 2% floor potency, plus 12% damage reduction, plus 150 HP, plus 20 PP, and a negative 100 elemental resist. I know there are a lot of players here who doesn't like having negative elemental resistance, so I'm going to show you a build that doesn't have any negative elemental resistance. Unfortunately, you won't get a high HP bonus unlike the set 1. So for this build, we're going to use a 5-star weapon of our choice and 3 pieces of Vios armor. So for the augments, we're going to use a stat 3, a Giga 3, a specific soul that you want, probably Form Sand Soul, or Forms Machine Soul. Just make sure it's on the 3 level, alright? And lastly, we're going for the Secreta 3. So once we have everything, we'll get the following. So we'll have 39.99% potency, plus 8.24 floor potency, plus 3.91 damage reduction, plus 20 HP, and plus 24 PP. So for the third build, I kind of recommend this for the new players, or for players who are still under the budget, because I call this the ultra budget build. For this build, we're gonna use our 5-star weapon of choice, 1 piece of Geant armor, and 2 pieces of Vios armor. So for the augments, we're going for stat 3, and then Giga 2, Forms Soul, Form Sand Soul, Forms Machine Soul, whatsoever you need. It's gonna be on a 2 level, and then lastly, we're going for the Secreta 3. Once we have everything, we'll get the following: 40.02 potency, plus 8.24 floor potency, plus 1.89 damage reduction, minus 20 HP, plus 26 PP, and minus 50% elemental resistance. Alright guys, so now we go to the 50% potency. So this is where the big boys play now, alright? So you guys better listen up. For the first set, we're going to use our 5-star weapon of choice, and then 3 pieces of Geant armor. For the augments, we're going to use the following: stat 3, Gigas 3. For the soul, it's gonna be Dust Soul, Renu Soul, or Ragra Soul 3, depends on the stat that you're gonna use. And then lastly, we're gonna add the addi capsules. So it depends on what stat you prefer. So it's either melee, range, or tech. So for this example, I use the AddiSta melee, range, or tech. So the AddiSta gives us plus additional 20 HP. Just a bit of a reminder, guys, that the addi capsules might change the price in the future in the market. So just a little heads up there. So once we have everything, we'll get the following. It's 54.49 potency plus 140 HP plus 30 PP. Unfortunately, we'll get a negative 150 elemental resist. Now we go ahead to the next set. This one doesn't use the stat tree. So instead of stat tree, we're going to use Secreta III. And we're going to go for our 5-star weapon of choice and the 3 pieces of Geant armor. So for the augments, we're going to use Secreta III, Gigas 3, Dust, Renus, or Ragras Soul 3. Depends on the stat what you need. And lastly, we're going to go for the addi capsule. So it's either melee, range, or tech. Depends on your stat, right? For this example, I went for AddiSta. So AddiSta gives us additional plus 20 HP. So once we have everything, we'll get the following. It's 54.49 potency plus 8.24 floor potency minus 5.87 damage reduction plus 110 HP plus 30 PP and a negative 150 elemental resist. I know some people say that addi capsules are kind of pay to win, right? So for the final set, I'm going to show you a 50% potency, but we're not going to use the addi capsule, so we're not going to use any of those, alright? So for this set, we're going to use our 5-star weapon of choice, 3 pieces of Geant armor as well. For the augments, we're going to use a stat 3, Gigas 3, a soul of what you prefer, probably Dust, Renus, or Ragras Soul 3. And lastly, we're going to use the Secreta III. So once we have everything, we'll get the following. It's 51.49% potency plus 8.24 floor potency, negative 5.87 damage reduction, plus 20 HP, plus 30 PP, and a negative 150 elemental resist. Just a bit of reminder, guys, all the sets here are just examples, and it's still up to you to decide which augments you want to use, because by the end of the day, it's all about your own playstyle. Before I end this video, I just want to share something to you guys. It's an awesome stat calculator that you can use. It's called the Dash Matoi Calculator, and you can check the link in the description below. It's easy to use, but if you want a guide on how to use this, just let me know down in the comment section below.
As always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Alex West, and I'll see you on my next video.